way we can use a crisis which perhaps we didn't generate, but we can take advantage of it. So they work on both sides of the aisle, if you know what I mean.
Okay, Dr. Vieira, that's an excellent answer. Jim, we thank you for that call. All right, let's go down here to Tom's on line 3. Tom, what's your question for Dr. Vieira?
Hey, Doctor, you're a true guardian of the Constitution. I applaud all your efforts over the years. I have your original Pieces of 8 book from way back in the early 80s that I bought. But my question is, you ever remember a book called Miracle on Main Street?
Oh, Tupper Saucy. Yes, of course.
Have you ever heard from him? I have never been able to find him.
No, I have not. I remember way back when, shortly after that book came out, and I had met with him on a number of occasions, one time in Utah, Salt Lake City, and no, of course he had his problem with the federal government, his criminal case, and after he came back out of that, no, I have never had an opportunity to talk to him again.
All right, we thank you for that call, Tom. All right, let's go over here to Dwayne on line 4. Dwayne, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What's your question for Dr. Vieira?
Hello, Dr. Vieira.
Hello, sir.
I'm going to ask you something crazy here. Do you feel like our country is possibly being hijacked by Islamic law or Sharia-compliant laws? I mean, no one seems to be doing anything in these court cases. Muslims seem to be taking ranks all over the country and all over the world. Obama coming in with his strong Muslim ties.
Well, I haven't seen any evidence that Sharia law is being directly applied here. I think the short answer to that is no at the present time. But then on the other hand, the extent to which any country sees large influxes of what I would call Orthodox Muslims, that is, people who actually believe and practice that religion, it doesn't take long for those people, once they've gained a sufficient number in the population.
Oh, Dr. Vieira, you still with me?
I guess so.
All right, I'll tell you what. Now I want to introduce you to another great American, one that we all love and admire here, Mr. Steve Pigeon. Steve, are you with us?
I'm with you, Ed.
Well, good to have you. And now I'm going to tell you something, guys. I also have that new host on last night that I totally messed her show up on. Miss Chalice, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll tell you what. Steve, will you give us just a brief update, and then I'm going to kind of turn it over to you and Dr. Vieira, and y'all just go at it.
Okay, well, first, Ed, I want to make verification that this is me, so I want to let you hear my squeak.
Oh, my goodness, and you still ain't got no oil from that chair.
That's right.
Okay, we know it's Steve. We heard the chair squeak.
Well, there are a lot of good things happening. We are continuing to investigate leads, and as you know, we have to deal with, shall we say, witnesses. Any witnesses that are out there are less than veracious because we don't have the opportunity to test any testimony. So as a result, we have to follow only documentary leads, and the documentary leads are actually coming along quite well. There's 3 ports of entry that we are currently researching. There's some additional archive information. I still have to make a trip to a certain borderland city where I'm going to be doing some archive research. We also have a solicitor in London that is helping us now. And
what are you looking for in London, Steve?
Well, in London, we're looking for any evidence of any record, and there are a number of reasons. Some of the theories that have surfaced in terms of our constitutional law theory hinge around the British Citizenship Act of 1948, and it is true that British citizenship is some of the most, let's see how to put this in a legal term, concretized status, and has been for a long time. The Brits are very formal about their citizenship. Even though their immigration has been lax lately, their citizenship has not been, and under the 1948 Act, it's very clearly established that if you were born of a British father, you were a British citizen. And so the question is there a database in Britain that demonstrates that the president-elect is, in fact, a British citizen? And, of course, you know the discussion that hinged from Leo D'Onofrio's argument and also Kurt Rotnowski's about the dual citizenship being a disqualifier in terms of the natural-born citizenship. And, of course, it certainly is disqualified under S-511 that Senator Obama himself voted for. So we're definitely trying to get records there. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the records are being protected by groups that are well established within government. I guess that would be the best way to put it.
Well, Can I mention the PI that you got working that was told not to come back?
Yes.
Go ahead and tell them about that.
Our PI made our first pass into certain archives here in the state of Washington and was directed out the door. And so we're going to have to make, all of our attempts, we have to be cautious about how we do it, because it's almost impossible to walk in a blue state, in a liberal state, and once you say we're here seeking records for Senator Obama, you have ad hoc agents of the president-elect immediately trying to sabotage your visit. Whether it's a court clerk or an officer working for one of the agencies or an archive agent, it makes no difference because the bias and the prejudice is there, and so trying to work around that to get any kind of assistance is almost impossible.
Can I ask you this one question? Are these archives, are they available to the public?
Yes and no.
Okay.
In some instances, yes, and we have this interesting archive system that some things are archived and available in digital file, and some things aren't.
All right, Chalice, I think you had a question. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering, when he led you out the door, was that illegal or just a distraction? I mean, how can you respond to that?
Well, the problem is, we're not going to bring a lawsuit against the port in order to, in lieu of a subpoena deuces take 'em or something. Instead, what the approach is we're going to continue to make an attack on the front door to attempt to gather these records. And we have other sources as well. There's not just one possibility, and so we expect to be making there's several different archive sources, and we're going to be doing a reconnaissance on all of those. And again, we've had the opportunity, there's a lot of talk. Fortunately, where we're here in the Northwest, this is where Stanley Ann Dunham went to school in junior high and graduated from high school, and is also is reported to have come back and attended University of Washington in 1961 and through 1963, and so we've had an opportunity to do a great deal of research on the ground in places like Mercer Island, in Pierce County, in Spokane, and throughout the region to check out numerous leads, and the leads are all proving interesting, and Ed, just for your own notice, we're actually getting some help on the street from Plains radio listeners here in the Seattle area.
Way to go, guys.
Awesome.
I'll tell you what, probably got 250,000 listeners tonight. But I'll tell you something, Steve. I want you to cover one more thing real quick. All of a sudden, you got a notice to move out of your building, didn't you? Can you tell us why?
Well, I don't know why. All I know is that we have an office space that we rent along with a group of other lawyers that are in the several floors in a building in downtown Bellevue. And after we started, particularly after our the number on our customs document started to surface, that seemed to start a wildfire in a pretty big way. And so we started getting pressure from numerous groups. We were being contacted by people that I had never heard of before, from offshore agencies and from other places. I just can't go into, who these agencies are.
I understand.
But
some of them were good and some of them were bad, right?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to tell the good guys from the bad guys, but let's just say that many of them special in covert operation. And the next thing you know, boom, our office space is being closed, and I stopped by the office last night, and there were, moving trucks all up and down the alley. So it was, it's been interesting.
Right. Okay, Steve, I'll tell you what, we got Dr. Vieira on here. You still with me, Dr. Vieira?
I am.
All right. Steve, you got any questions for Dr. Vieira? Kind of discuss your case with him and talk to him?
You bet. I do have some questions. One of the main issues that we have in our case here in Washington has to do with the Article 6 in the Constitution, in the general provisions. And we asserted that our Secretary of State had a constitutional duty imposed on him by Article 6, which required that all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by an oath or affirmation to support the Constitution. And we took that to mean that the Constitution imposed a duty on the Secretary of State to support the Constitution, including Article 2, Section 1, which required the President to be eligible to hold the office. And, of course, in Washington, we also have a subsequent constitutional provision in the state law under Article 1, Section 2, that says the that the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land and is controlling authority in the state of Washington. So my question to you is and I know that that we're talking about a lot of oatmeal here in general, but do you see a duty arising from the plain language of the Constitution for state officers under this provision?
Well, yes, but what is the duty? What is the substance of the duty? If I'm a state officer and I have a duty to follow the United States Constitution, the United States Constitution requires that an individual be provably eligible for the office of President of the United States. Then, in my capacity as a state officer, if I have any authority